Have you ever wondered if a narcissistic man's charming words are genuine affection or a calculated ploy? Picture this. A man, seemingly perfect, showers you with compliments, saying things that make your heart flutter. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I've never met anyone as intelligent as you. Your smile lights up my world. Sounds dreamy, right? But when these words are wielded by a narcissistic man, they can be more of a strategy than a heartfelt sentiment. You see, a narcissist is an expert at using words of affirmation to his advantage. His flattery is like a magic trick, a sleight of hand, where one moment you're basking in the glow of his praise, and the next, you're left questioning your worth when the compliments cease or change in tone. Take, for instance, the case of Sarah. She was swept off her feet by the charismatic John, who was always quick with a compliment, making her feel like she was on top of the world. However, as time went on, she noticed a pattern. The praise was often followed by subtle criticisms, veiled as more compliments. You're so independent, it's intimidating. Your intelligence can sometimes make others feel inadequate. These compliments, laced with criticism, created a sense of confusion and self-doubt in Sarah. She began questioning her qualities, ones she was once proud of. This, dear listeners, is a classic example of how a narcissistic man uses flattery as a tool of manipulation. While genuine compliments are given to make others feel good, a narcissist uses them as a means to an end, often to control or belittle. The key difference lies in the intent and the impact. True compliments lift you up. Manipulative flattery, on the other hand, leaves you feeling unsure, questioning your self-worth. As we delve deeper into this topic, it's essential to remember that understanding these tactics is the first step towards empowerment. It's about recognizing the signs, trusting your instincts, and knowing that you deserve to be treated with genuine respect and affection. As we see, the line between flattery and manipulation is often blurred in the presence of a narcissistic man. Can a compliment make you question your own sanity? When it comes from a narcissistic man, it just might. Gaslighting is a term that's been floating around for a while, but what does it really mean? Simply put, gaslighting is a psychological manipulation technique where someone is made to question their own reality, perceptions, or memories. Now imagine this happening through something as seemingly benign as compliments. Sounds bizarre, right? But that's exactly how a narcissistic man adept in the language of affirmation operates. Let's delve into a case study to illustrate this point. Consider a woman named Sarah. Her partner, a charming man named James, frequently compliments her on her intelligence. But when Sarah expresses an opinion contrary to his, James cunningly uses his earlier compliments as a weapon. He'd say something like, "Sarah, you're so smart, you can't possibly believe that." Over time, Sarah begins to doubt her own intellect, falling prey to James's manipulative compliments. Or take the example of Laura, who often hears praises about her calm demeanor from her partner Mark. However, whenever she shows any sign of emotional distress, Mark turns his compliments into a gaslighting tool. He'd say, "Laura, you're always so composed. You're not acting like yourself." This leaves Laura questioning the legitimacy of her own feelings. These scenarios illustrate how compliments, when twisted by a narcissist, can become a tool for disorientation and control. The aim is to create a state of constant self-doubt, where the victim is always second-guessing their own thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. This is not to say that every compliment is a red flag, but it's crucial to pay attention to the intention behind the words and the effects they have on your self-perception. A genuine compliment should uplift you, not make you question your own sanity or worth. So next time you receive a compliment, take a moment to assess. Does it empower you, or does it subtly push you into a corner of self-doubt? Remember, in the hands of a narcissist, even compliments can become a weapon of confusion and control. Do you know why a narcissist constantly seeks praise? It's not as straightforward as you might think. The need for praise and admiration is a fundamental aspect of a narcissist's emotional makeup. But it's more than just an ego boost or a desire for attention. It's an emotional dependence, a lifeline that keeps their self-image afloat. Think of it this way. Most of us have a solid sense of self. We know who we are, and we hold on to that image through our ups and downs. But for the narcissist, their self-image is like a house of cards, precariously balanced. It's a grandiose, inflated image that they struggle to maintain. And the glue that holds this fragile construction together? That's right, it's praise and admiration. Let's look at a case study. Consider John, a classic narcissist. He's charismatic, charming, always the life of the party. But beneath that sparkling exterior, he's constantly seeking validation. Every compliment he receives, every round of applause, is another card added to his house of cards. It's a continuous cycle of dependence, where John's self-worth is entirely reliant on the approval of others. Now imagine what happens when that praise isn't forthcoming. The house of cards begins to wobble. The narcissist feels threatened, their self-image is at risk, and so they might react with anger, or they may resort to manipulation to secure the praise they crave. It's a constant battle, a never-ending struggle to keep the house from collapsing. But why is this dependence on praise so dangerous? Because it places the narcissist's emotional well-being in the hands of others. They become reliant on external validation to feel good about themselves. And this dependence can lead to manipulative behavior, as they seek to control their source of validation. Understanding this emotional dependence is key to deciphering the behavior of narcissistic men. It's not just about the need for attention or the desire to be admired. It's about maintaining an inflated self-image, a grandiose illusion that requires constant validation. The narcissist's insatiable need for praise is a clear sign of their emotional dependence. How can you tell if affirmations are genuine or manipulative? The signs are there if you know where to look. In this journey of understanding the dynamic of a narcissist fluent in the language of words of affirmation, recognizing manipulative language is pivotal. It's like learning to read the subtle differences in the strokes of a painting, discerning the master artist's intentions. So what are the key indicators? What are the red flags to look out for? Let's dive in. Firstly, we'll look at inconsistency. Genuine affirmations are consistent. They don't fluctuate wildly depending on the narcissist's mood or need for control. If the affirmations you're receiving are inconsistent, swinging from extreme praise to severe criticism, you're likely dealing with manipulative language. Secondly, observe the timing. Does the narcissist shower you with compliments when they need something from you, or when they're trying to deflect from their actions? If the timing of the praise seems suspiciously convenient, it might be manipulative. Thirdly, consider the nature of the praise. Is it focused on who you are as a person, or is it tied to what you can do for them? Genuine affirmations appreciate the individual for who they are, not for what they can provide. Let's look at an example. Meet Jane. Jane's partner John is always full of compliments. But Jane notices that John's praise often comes when he needs a favor or wants to avoid difficult conversations. His affirmations are rarely about Jane herself, but about what she does for him. Jane's experience illustrates how manipulative language can be masked as affirmation. Remember, it's not about discrediting every compliment or doubting every word of affirmation. It's about being aware, being vigilant. It's about knowing that you deserve genuine affirmation, not manipulative sweet talk disguised as praise. The journey to recognizing manipulative language can be challenging, but it's a journey worth undertaking. It's about reclaiming your emotional well-being, about breaking free from the intricate web of narcissistic manipulation. Recognizing manipulative language is the first step towards breaking free from the illusion. How can you free yourself from the need for external validation? It starts from within. The path of self-validation is a powerful one. It's a journey that leads to the realization that our worth is not tied to others' opinions or affirmations. It's about understanding that we, ourselves, are the best judges of our worth. This journey isn't always easy, but it's one that brings immense personal growth and empowerment. Imagine a world where your self-esteem isn't tethered to the words of someone else. Think about how liberating it would be to feel secure in yourself, without needing constant validation from others. This is the world of self-validation, a world where your worth is determined by you and only you. Let's consider the case of Jane. Jane was in a relationship with a narcissistic man, constantly seeking his approval and affirmation. She felt trapped, her self-esteem hanging by a thread. But then Jane started her journey to self-validation. She began to understand that her worth wasn't dependent on her partner's validation. She started to affirm herself, to recognize her own worth, and slowly, she began to regain her self-esteem. And then there's the story of Mark. Mark had a narcissistic boss who was always ready with a compliment but equally quick to belittle him when things didn't go as planned. Mark's self-worth was tied to his boss's whims. But Mark decided to change. He started to validate his own achievements, to acknowledge his own worth, and in time, he found his confidence again. These stories are examples of the transformational power of self-validation. They show us that we have the power to define our worth, to validate ourselves. It's not about arrogance or self-absorption. It's about understanding and acknowledging our own value. Self-validation is a journey. It starts with recognizing that your worth is not dependent on external validation. It's about learning to affirm yourself, to recognize your own strengths and achievements. It's about understanding that you are enough, just as you are. So how do you begin this journey? Start by affirming yourself. Recognize your achievements, big or small. Celebrate your strengths. Understand that you are enough just as you are. And remember, it's okay to seek validation from others, but your worth should never be tied to their validation. Remember, the most powerful affirmation is the one you give yourself.